Republican colleagues, what would be the impact on the loss of lives, on our economy, if we were attacked again as they are trying to do? The chatter is up. Law enforcement tells us the threat is up, not down. And why are we cutting it 50%? And my Republican colleagues, I say to you that you are not just gambling with dollars, you are gambling with lives. And it is not a gamble Democrats are willing to take. I urge a no vote.
Gentleman from New York.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Kansas, Mr. Yoder.
Gentleman from Kansas, recognized for 2 minutes.
Well, I thank the gentleman from New York for yielding time, and I thank the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today I rise in support of the rule that we're debating here today so that we can debate a bill on Homeland Security. Now, that might come as a surprise to many who are watching this debate, or to the Speaker or anyone else in this chamber today, that we're actually debating a rule that deals with Homeland Security. Now, the fantasy discussion going on the left right now on any topic that comes to mind might be entertaining to some, but for the rest of this country, they'd love to see this body actually debate issues that we're on topic, and that issue is Homeland Security. Agencies like Border Control, ICE agents, Coast Guard personnel, the Secret Service, funding for all sorts of agencies, $1 billion for FEMA Disaster Relief Fund. Are these not issues important enough to discuss on the floor today? The bill prohibits the use of funds to move detainees at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, into the United States, denies the immigration benefits such as visas admission in the United States and classification as refugees, all sorts of things that are critical to Homeland Security, to protecting Americans from terrorism, keeping Americans safe. And we're doing it under an open rule, and that's the issue on this rule debate. For the first time in 4 years, we're debating an appropriations bill that affects hundreds of millions of Americans related to Homeland Security, and we're allowing every side to bring amendments down to the floor and to discuss those issues. This is a critical moment. And now how many times the folks on the left want to come forward and obfuscate or change the subject, that's fine. We can have those debates, and we'll continue to have those debates. But we're debating today a rule that will allow this body, in an open fashion, for the first time in anyone's memory, to debate an open rule on Homeland Security. If you have an amendment that's germane to the bill, bring it. If it's found worthy, it will pass. This is the process we used in committee, and it worked. We produced a good piece of legislation that will provide for the security of the homeland. We have an opportunity today to be serious and debate the topic that is before us on Homeland Security. And how many times the left attempts to change the subject from what we're talking about. We know that the Homeland Security of our country, protecting us from terrorism, is a critical issue, and we will debate it, no matter how many times the left tries to stop us.
Gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman from Colorado.
The gentleman mentioned the open rule. The open rule itself is largely non-controversial, strong support from both sides of the aisle. What is contained in this rule is the broadest sweeping policy change in recent history, namely the elimination of Medicare. That is the controversial element of this rule, which is deemed and passed by the rule itself. With that, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Andrews.
The gentleman from New Jersey is recognized for 2 minutes.
I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For years, working Americans, paycheck after paycheck, week after week, have paid taxes into the Medicare Trust Fund. And after they paid those taxes, this country made a promise to them that Medicare's guaranteed benefits would be there for them for the rest of their life. The issue before the House today is whether we honor or dishonor that promise. The Republican plan to abandon Medicare abandons those guaranteed benefits. The Republican plan to abandon Medicare says that rather than seniors and their doctors deciding what care the seniors should get, private health insurance companies make that decision. Part of the promise of Medicare was that health care would be reasonably affordable to our seniors and retirees. The Republican plan to abandon Medicare violates that promise. It raises the out-of-pocket cost of health care for our seniors by $6,000 a year. We agree that Medicare needs improvement and that Medicare outlays need to be restrained. That's why we support giving the Medicare administration the same authority to negotiate prescription